Hello, Catamounts. My name is Alexander Hoffman, and this is Chats with Cats presented by WeTV. In this series, we've been interviewing some of our amazing student athletes here at Western Carolina University. Today, we're doing something a little bit different.
Hello, Catamounts.
My name is Jacob Pendergraph.
I'm Dan Saiani.
I'm Morgan Korson.
And I'm Dan Reid. And today's guest is Alexander Hoffman, the host and producer of Chats with Cats.
Well, that's kind of insane, but I do think that there are a few too many people in here for now if we're going to get this interview started. So let's go ahead and start this up with Morgan Korson.
Whoa. All right. Oh, hey, we're here. So,
Morgan.
So why did you, well, first of all, please introduce yourself and a little bit about you.
So my name is Alexander Hoffman. I am the host, producer of Chats with Cats. I'm a senior, management and marketing major, so not communications, oddly enough. And I'm also a tour guide here and a WCU athletics enthusiast.
Why did you choose Western Carolina?
So I am from Canton, North Carolina, about 30, 40 minutes away, meaning that my school system loves to take us on field trips to Western because we're incredibly close. So I visited here for various events and cross-country competitions in middle school and different things in high school, just 6 times, I think, 7 times, and never actually took a full normal tour. But I saw the campus itself. I loved how green the campus is, honestly. There's a lot of work done by facilities, as well as once I was actually old enough to understand prices of things, the cost of Western is a good bit lower, so that definitely influenced it. And also it's a smaller school, and I didn't want to go to a big city school. Found that out the hard way by going on tours there.
And you mentioned that you're not a communication major, and you are a member of the communications department's club called WeTV. So what got you aspired to be involved with WeTV?
So about a year and a half ago, I think, spring 2023, I was working with Liam Bridgman, one of our previous exec for WeTV, also previous editor of the Western Carolinian, and he was another tour guide here, and he actually was, again, big time involved in this, and I saw one of his episodes of Between Two Men on YouTube, and I was like, this is the greatest thing ever. How do I get involved? And I texted him about it. He was like, yeah, just show up to one of the meetings, and this is how much dues are, and this, and I was like, okay. And so I just kind of got involved in WeTV. Here I am.
Right. And what kind of struggles did you face when getting people on board to do interviews at first, if you did face any?
I think the main struggle at first, it wasn't a huge struggle in terms of getting them to cooperate. It was more of on my side, because Chats with Cats obviously wasn't established really. It was at the very beginning, nobody had done one, obviously, but Russell Jones Jr., first interview, he was great, and he agreed to do an interview just as a test run of the whole thing. And then from then on, as people saw clips of the different interviews, it became a little easier. People started reaching out to me this semester and being the ones to be like, oh yeah, I want to do this thing, I want to do this interview thing. That's actually how we ended up with Pride of the Mountains and the dance team being interviewed this semester, because they reached out to me. But at first it was very just for myself, I didn't want to reach out and people just feel like, who's this guy? What's going on? What's this interview? But then now it's not really much of a problem now. So.
And you mentioned this year you've expanded and people have gotten interested in the show. Did you expect it to get as big as it has?
Honestly, no. Whenever I did that first interview, I thought it might be a one-time thing. And then I was like, well, what if I interviewed more of the basketball players? And then I was like, well, what if I interview every other sport at Western? And so it kind of grew like that. Jacob's here now. All right. So,
Hey, Alex.
Hey.
So just a couple of quick questions for you right off the rip. What has been your favorite interview and why?
My favorite interview that I've done is definitely last semester, actually. I did an interview with Charles Lampton and Kamar Robertson of our men's basketball team. They were both grad students. That one was just so much fun. It was a double interview because they're roommates, or they were roommates, and just something about the conversation that happened in this room during that was just so special. Just the laughing and the very end, the credits, the way that it is edited. If you listen, you can hear as it fades to black, Kamar and Charles and me still just laughing before the credits pop up. And go Cats.
Go Cats.
Bro, I couldn't understand.
Love that.
You love the good times and the good energies that those two bring along. They're definitely some very good characters. You should go check out that interview if you haven't already.
Definitely.
Just another question. What student athlete quote has resonated the strongest with you?
With so many interviews, it's hard to just pick one.
Yeah.
Because, it's like 60 or something, somewhere around there. It's not even going to be a student athlete. The quote that I think I heard it one time, and then he repeated it a couple times, "Embrace the suck," from Ja'Kai Jermaine. That interview, I cannot be quiet about. Just something about that. Embrace the suck kind of. It's a good way to live, not just in band or in athletics. It's a good way to view just bad times in general. Bad things happen. Bad times happen. This has been an interesting semester. And you just have to kind of take it as what it is and just keep going, and I'll let those bad times, the suck, stop you and halt you. You just have to keep going. So that's definitely.
Absolutely. Shout out Ja'Kai Jermaine, the absolute GOAT.
Every time.
So another one kind of bouncing off of that one. Which student athlete or person that you've interviewed you look up the most to, and why?
Okay, so there's two answers that come to mind immediately. One of them is Russell Jones Jr., very first interview that we did. First person on the basketball team for me to have reached out to at all. Definitely one of the greatest guys, one of the best people I've met through doing all of this. Very just stand-up guy. He says exactly what's on his mind in terms of his values. He's very upfront. And on that same lines, his friend Trey Jackson was also on our team. They were childhood friends, and he's the exact same way. He's very straightforward. He's very chill. He just talks through everything, and I think that those two are probably the ones I look up to the most, just because they're what I would like to be in terms of very just calm and just go with the flow.
Yeah.
You just see what happens, and now they're both overseas. Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah, it's great to see the great places that the people we've interviewed end up. Overseas is absolutely massive. Land basketball internationally is just the coolest thing ever.
Yeah.
Last question from me. As this series has developed, obviously we've had 60-something episodes at this point, and we've been doing this for 2 seasons now. How has your view of student athletics changed?
So at first, whenever I first started going to any athletic event, I kind of was just okay, whatever, it's just you watch the sport, you move on. And then I started to think more about how different the lives of the people in all these sports must be just in general, and same with band, same with dance and cheer. And in reaching out originally to Russell, the thing that I communicated and that's started that process of changing my view of athletics and student athletics is just I talked to him about how I wanted to talk about the life behind the player, because they're so much more than just the sport they play. Even if they are the best in their game, which we have really good players. Russell, Trey, Kamar, and Chuck are all really, really good players that we had on, and a lot of our players that we have on overall in different sports as well. But they are also people, and they were students before that, and just in general getting to hear that the psychological aspect behind that's the part that I didn't think about at first, and then through this interview that's all I think about now whenever I'm on the court. And that's why it's a lot harder to be a lot of people get negative if we're not doing well in a particular sport, whether it's football, it's basketball. It's very difficult for me to start to be negative about any of our teams, or honestly any college team, because I know, having talked to so many, just how intense their workload is, because it's so much.
Yeah, obviously we've had a lot of really big Western Carolina athletes. We've had both Cole Gonzalez and Tiger Dickens, our quarterbacks, and our basketball team, our basketball coach even. So obviously, getting the glimpse of the man behind the mask, as the saying goes, is obviously huge. And I think you're right with a lot of regards. A lot of our students and even our fans, they kind of think that, we're not doing well in a sport, and that's just the end of it. But I think it's really good that the series has developed into something that's just not just the man on the court or on the field. It's the person behind the mask. I think that's really great.
Yeah, for sure. Wait, what's going on? Here.
Check the schedule.
Yeah, why is someone else is in here? That was chaotic.
Oh, well, welcome back. And Alex, are you ready for some more hard questions?
Yeah, I guess I don't have a choice. There's a lot going on.
All right, so this one's pretty easy, starting off kind of marketing related since that's your major and all. So WeTV has produced many shows over the years. However, none of them have been quite as consistently formatted and produced and distributed as Chats with Cats. So can you tell me about what kind of inspiration, if anyone or anything, helped you develop this format, and how did you stay so consistent in uploading?
So the original thing that inspired the way that I edit these is last semester I didn't edit the first I think it's the first 5-6 interviews because I was new to all of that and I hadn't figured out Adobe Premiere Pro and all of that stuff. So Olivia, our previous studio manager and WeTV president, was the one that was editing all of those. And so I saw the way that she was editing them. And for all of last semesters, they're edited basically the same. The way that we shoot is all one take typically. So it's not too much on that side. It's a lot more making the graphics. And so the consistency in the graphics is the main part that I've had to work at because last semester the credits are a little bit less. So that's one thing that over this year, it's kind of been self-inspiration. I guess I've seen other podcast or video series logos and I'm like, yeah, I need to make this pop a little bit more. But that could also just be the marketing major in me, like you said.
Well, certainly brand focused, definitely legacy focused, and you have made that one here. So our next question has to do with the show particularly. So you predominantly interviewed student athletes on Chats with Cats. If you are to continue interviewing, is there a group of people or a specific focus that you would like to kind of put that on with the interviews?
So I do want to continue student athletes, obviously. There's a lot of stories to tell. Like I was telling Jacob before, who knows what happened. He's not here anymore. But I think that having more Pride of the Mountains members would definitely be a good idea. Maybe talking to some more of the different faculty around campus would be a nice thing to do as well. Especially in athletics, obviously. If we could get our director of athletics, that'd be something that I would 100% be right there for. But I guess we'll have to see on that. But other than that, I think pretty much staying the same. I've thought about trying spin-off series with professors. Having Matt Benford would be a pretty cool thing to do. But yeah.
There you go. Very nice. And now we have to get through these questions really fast because they are the lightning round questions. Are you ready for some little questions with little itsy bitsy tiny answers? Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Look at me. 1, 2, 3. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. Awesome. All right. So first one, you're stranded on a desert island. You can only listen to only one piece of entertainment for the rest of your life. Who is making that entertainment? What artist or entertainer?
Probably AJR.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, quick. Another one. All right. So now that you have that artist locked in, which album by AJR is the one that you have to have with you?
The Maybe Man.
The Maybe Man. Okay. We can slow down now. It's okay. I'm sorry.
Okay.
You survived. We both lived. For those at home who don't know, there's actually a demon in the room that threatened us. If we didn't get those done really fast, it was going to be really bad. But anyway, tell me why that album by AJR.
So it just came out on, gosh, I don't want to get the date wrong, but around November 6th or so of last year. It is, I've been seeing AJR. I saw them in concert twice, 2014, and then I didn't see them again until 2021, and then again, or no, 2022, and then I saw them twice this year as well. And so their showmanship, they are a band that is a lot more focused on what happens on stage than what happens, like, I guess, in everyone's headphones, if that makes sense. So they build their music to be a concert experience, and that's something that I feel like not a lot of artists do. A lot of artists do it just to put the music out. And so because I've seen them twice this year on the tour of this album, I can picture all of the things happening on stage whenever I listen to the music. Makes it so much more impactful.
Beautiful. All right. Well, I think that demon is starting to kill me slowly, so I'm just gonna.
It's getting really bright in the room. I'm not sure.
Oh my God! I'm descending into the light.
What in the world? Where did you?
All right, I'm going to continue this lightning round. Let's start off with favorite place to sit in any WCU stadium or arena.
So I'd have to say for the basketball arena, in Ramsey, I definitely try to sit at the front of the cat cage every single game. That started last season. It's continued. For the conference games, I have to get there like 2 hours early. I've gotten there 3.5 hours early before. But hopefully we don't have to do that this season, but who knows?
A lot of preparation for that one. Another lightning round. What is your favorite game day snack?
Okay, every single time, if I go to the concession stand, I will end up getting a thing of peanut M&Ms, and I don't even know if I like peanut M&Ms that much, but for some reason, I always will choose the peanut, and that I walk away and I'm like, I guess I did just get that.
And I guess for a regular question, this semester you have shout out places, people, classes that athletes mentioned through the interviews. Is there anyone or anything that you would like to shout out right now?
First, obviously, I want to shout out WeTV, the channel that you're watching this on. Wouldn't be able to do this without them, as I've mentioned in other WeTV videos. But I also, in general, the Chats with Cats tech crew, can't do the production without any tech crew. Our general manager for WeTV, who won't get on camera, Elijah, he definitely big shout out. Shouting out, let's see. I'm also a tour guide, as mentioned earlier. Definitely shout out admissions and the tour guides. If you were a WCU student and you're looking for an on-campus job and you like to talk to people, that's a pretty good one for that. And let's see if I can name them all. Let's see. There's Russell Jones Jr., there's Trey Jackson, there's DJ Campbell, there's Kamar Robertson, Charles Lampton.
All right. So for the final one, I guess let's do this. So for someone who is looking to create something similar to, say, Chats with Cats, or maybe not, what advice would you give them?
Just find a support system of people that have similar interests or that want experience with what you're doing. So for Chats with Cats, it was about finding other people in WeTV that were interested in athletics and wanted to help out on that side, or just were interested in any kind of behind-the-scenes role, camera, audio, directing. That's how we got our tech interviews that have come out in the past week or so with Morgan, Dan, and Jacob. So that's the main thing. Find that support system around you and then just kind of go do it. There's not a lot stopping you other than, I guess, if you're in a college organization, then you might have a little bit of like budget constraints, obviously, but just go and do it. From the social media aspect, I also run all of Chats with Cats social media, and just be willing to put in a little bit of effort. The clipping does take a little bit of time sometimes to get the right clips. There's not the largest editing time constraint, but be willing to put in time. But if it's something that you love doing, then that shouldn't be too difficult to be willing to do that.
All right, sounds really good, Alex.
So I guess I've heard more than enough of you and having people ask me questions. So I guess we'll just snap right back to me. Thank you for joining us for this semester's season of Chats with Cats. Get in the comments and tell us your favorite interview from this semester. Tune in next semester. And as always, go Cats!